So let's just watch as Concorde comes into land in Edinburgh. What's the plan with this Concorde then? It won't be long in Edinburgh, will it, before it turns around and heads straight back to Heathrow?
That's right. It's scheduled to land. Well, it was scheduled to land shortly before 1 o'clock. I think it is a bit late. It'll be on the ground here for roughly 2 hours, and I would guess that the passengers, when they come off, they'll go into one of the terminal lounges, and there's obviously quite a lot of media excitement here, as well as the public who have come out to see the plane land. So we'll be hearing from the people who have been lucky enough to win the prizes that took them on to Concorde's last flight. It's now just beginning to almost go out of sight into the clouds again, although it is a pretty clear sky this evening. It's this lunchtime. It's a bright day, and Concorde will turn round in the next few minutes and come back.
What route has the plane actually taken on the way up? Has it been able to go supersonic? Because, of course, it can't go supersonic over land.
It can't, but that's what I was saying. We're hoping that we'll find out once the passengers get on the ground. But as I understand it, the plane was going to go out over the Atlantic, which would allow it to reach supersonic speeds. I'm not entirely sure of that, but that's my understanding. And so the passengers would get that feeling of flying at twice the speed of sound. And yes, I think we can, just through the clouds, just behind this other aircraft that's coming into land, I think you can see Concorde just coming round now and will be approaching the runway.
John, the future of Concorde seems very murky. I mean, we know there are going to be no more scheduled flights, but what British Airways is going to do with their 7 Concordes, according to the Financial Times this morning, one of them could end up in Edinburgh, with others going to Filton in Bristol, where it was made, another to Manchester, and one to New York to help with British Airways marketing. Have you heard anything about Concorde ending up in Edinburgh?
There's certainly been talk about it coming to Edinburgh, but as you say, I don't think anything is certain, no guarantees at the moment. And it's interesting to see the number of people that are here today have turned out for the last flight. It shows that this plane, this icon of the late 20th century, does generate a considerable amount of interest. And if today is any gauge, I would guess that, yes, Edinburgh may have some call on getting one of the Concordes that's gone out of business today, that it could be permanently based here.
Do you know about the competition that was involved? We were told that all sorts of people won competition prizes on this flight that is about to land in Edinburgh, but I gather it was restricted to British Airways staff on the flight back to Heathrow.
You know more about it than I do then, but the flight, the people that won, it was so open to the public as far as I'm aware. These were people who are interested, wanted to take part in this. But I know that one of the people who is on the flight today as well, that his father used to look after the engines, and that he remembers his father being chauffeured, driven down to the base in England, where he looked over the engines and was then taken back. Those were the days, huh?
Weather conditions look good in Edinburgh. It's not going to have any trouble landing, no crosswinds or anything like that, John?
It's perfectly calm, it's very bright, and as you can see, it's now beginning to approach the runway, coming down from the sky. And yes, we can hear the noise now.
You were telling us, John, it's taking so long to come into land because it's just been circling to burn off fuel.
That's right. Apparently it hadn't burnt off the fuel. I'm not entirely sure what the technical requirements are, but the pilot had sent some message down to the ground staff that he had too much fuel on board. But let's just watch it land.
I bet a cheer is going up for the pilot and the plane, of course, today on board that Alpha Golf I think she's... No, I'm getting mixed up. Alpha Golf is the one coming from New York that we were watching earlier. So, what's going to happen when she's taxied round, John? Is there a great fanfare and red carpet and all the rest of it?
Oh yes, there'll be quite a reception for the passengers that have just flown in. Considerable media interest. You've seen the public who have turned out. The passengers will come off the flight and into the terminal building where they'll be welcomed by staff, and obviously the media are very keen to hear from people exactly what they've been up to and where they've been.
John, as we talk, perhaps we can see pictures live from New York as the preparations are made for Concorde Alpha Golf to leave New York in half an hour's time.